Hello everyone and welcome to day 28 of 90 of the YouTube sprint on signal analytics. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that I really enjoy talking about, which is expansion signals. And the reason I like talking about this topic is because it's a great opportunity for almost every client that we come in contact with, because it's way easier to keep an existing client and sell them more than it is to get new clients. And that's coming from personal experience with my own company, as well as all the data that we look at inside of the CRMs of our clients. So let's get into it. On the last video, I did the same format, so I'll do it again. Who am I? I'm Dan Saavedra. I run MergeYourData. We're a signal analytics consulting firm. We help you look at your data, find the signals in that data that indicate whether or not someone is going to become a customer, and then we help you replicate and grow that subset of people. So what I have below here before we get into the actual content is a real client screenshot, actual results from our signal analytics, and it's actually a great story as well in terms of this topic, expansion signals. So we've covered this a couple videos ago, this same graph. We deployed signal analytics in Q1 of 2023, and you can see that they had about the same number of deals when we deployed signal analytics, that not much changed in that first quarter. But then we had a jump in deals in the quarters after that, and then it's kind of evened off, right? And then on the right-hand side, we have our revenue graph, and January 2023, it was around 580,000 in revenue when we deployed signal analytics. And for the first quarter, revenue was pretty static, pretty flat. And then the results started really building in the fourth and fifth month. And then you can see that growth just took off. And that's with the same number of deals being created. So you know that they're getting more efficient in the sales process. And towards the end of the revenue graph here, as we see the number of deals decline back to the normal amount, you still see revenue growing. And that's because expansions were happening. An entire process was built out to help with expansions and identify expansion opportunities so that we could sell more to clients that already exist. So our client had clients that they already had subscribed for a while to the services, and now they are buying more from them. They're doing more business with them. And so that's really good news. It helped continue that growth further on. And so we're going to talk a little bit about these expansion signals today. Okay, so who is this presentation video podcast episode for? It is for sales leaders, customer success leaders, and believe it or not, marketing leaders. So sales leaders, if you're handling expansion opportunities, this is relevant. If you're a customer success leader, you need to be involved in this process, and you might even be handling that expansion sale process. Depends on your organization. I've seen both. And then marketing leaders, we're actually going to save until the end of the presentation here and tell you about how they are relevant in this expansion conversation here. And so why would you care about this? One, it's harder to get new customers than to keep and expand existing ones. It costs a lot of money to get a new customer to even book a call, let alone become a customer. And so you have all of at least the clients that we work with, once you become a certain size, you have a certain number of customers that you've been doing business with for a while. And so expanding on those existing ones is one of the easier ways and most efficient ways to grow your revenue. Obviously, you can't be greedy with it or else it'll cause churn, but there's a balance to find. You don't always need to find new logos. 2, stepladder sales is common for prospects from bigger companies. So especially when you're selling into bigger organizations or you're trying to sell a very large project, it's easier to actually sell a smaller thing first and then walk them up to bigger sales. And so there's a lot of reasons for this. One is a trust factor in terms of getting in the door, getting results, proving that you are what you say you are. And then the other factor, especially when it comes to enterprise type deals, is just getting into the organization and being approved as a vendor, right? There's a whole process that you have to go through in order to get paid, to be approved to get paid, to be approved at multiple levels. And so once you can get your foot in the door in a smaller project, it's easier to expand rather than coming in with this gigantic proposal and then tons of eyes are on it, tons of pushback are on it. If you can get small results up front, you can get more success later on. 3, get more accurate projections. We talk about it all the time. But if you can land expansions, if you can use signals to identify those expansion opportunities and know when they're going to happen, you get more accurate projections. So why are we talking about and caring about expansions in general? You might have heard of the step-ladder approach to sales and/or foot in the door. So instead of selling someone on everything at once, you sell them on a smaller thing, and then you work your way up. So expansions become a critical part of that, because once they become a customer, you need to expand and expand and expand. So you need to look for the signals of when they're going to do that. If I bought a $35 course and then I did the entire course, that might be a signal that I'm now a good prospect for your $5,000 service. Now, if I bought the $35 course, never logged in, then no need to waste additional time with salespeople trying to upsell. Instead, keep them in the marketing funnel, right? Keep sending them ads passively. Keep targeting them with specific messages, all that good stuff. So closing larger deals becomes more likely once you've had a smaller success together. We see it all the time in our business. We see it all the time in our clients' businesses. Once you get that small success under your belt, you're able to continue to grow. You can use these smaller wins as proof and as case studies to upsell them and expand your entire relationship altogether. You can point back, hey, didn't we work well together with this? Didn't you get a lot of success with this service or this product? Why don't we do something bigger now? I know you also had these challenges. That's why expansions are critical here. And so if we think about this in terms of relationships, because all business is relationships, with a brand new person, is it easier to get them to hang out at your house or go on vacation with you? You just met them. You want to eventually go on a beach trip with them, have some fun. Is it going to be easier to convince them to do that when you meet them the first day? Or is it going to be easier to convince them to come over and hang out in the yard with a bunch of your other friends? One's a much lower ask. If you're casually saying, hey, you want to come hang out with some friends? There's going to be 4 or 5 of us. We're just going to be hanging out in the backyard, shooting the shit. Compared to, hey, do you want to buy a plane ticket and stay in a hotel with me and 3 other friends? This is going to be way easier. And then once they're a better known friend, do your odds go up or down on them going on vacation with you? You've known each other for a year now. You've hung out hundreds of times or something. Now you ask them to go on a trip. Do you think they're more likely to do it when you first met them? And so sales is the exact same way. You might be able to get some people to go on this trip with you, especially if you have a prior reputation, right? So that's like an inbound type approach. But if you are especially doing any type of cold outbound, then it's going to be much harder to close someone here on the vacation rather than just hanging out in your backyard. Much lower risk here. You can see if you like them at all, and then you can go on a vacation, right? So same thing with expansions and the step ladder / foot in the door approach. Sell them on the little thing, look for expansion signals, keep growing. So therefore, we can use signals to reverse engineer this process, just like with a net new account. We focus a lot on these net new accounts, but in reality, the proof is in your existing book, or not the proof, the value is in your existing book and some of the instant biggest wins that you can have. So we can use signals to walk this back, reverse engineer it, and that's what we're going to do. So the very top expansion signal, we'll get into it here. It's a needle in the haystack. It's a little more common than this, to be honest, a little easier to find, but they ask directly. If someone asks directly, obviously they want to buy more. They book a meeting to expand. Pay attention to them. Treat them as a priority, right? They asked you, so do it. So that's the top expansion signal, but that's an obvious one. You guys know about it. You've probably experienced it. Now, one note is if they do that directly, it shouldn't be a manual process because manual things get lost in business. So you want to automate that, but we'll go into that deeper later. Expansion signals, if you are a services-based business, someone like us, we don't sell a product, right? Some of our clients don't sell products. They only sell services. Some sell both, whatever. But for services, there's specific expansion signals. One is client results. If you get a successful small project from a service and you have measurable results or a testimony, whatever it may be, you can leverage that to, number one, identify new problems while you're in there, right? For us, if we're in your HubSpot instance and we see opportunities for growth, then we're going to mention that, right? Especially if it ties back to the results that we got you. And so that's the number one signal, is great results make people want to work with you more. So look for additional opportunities. Foot in the door. 2, regular meeting attendance. Let's say you have every 1 or 2 week checkup, strategy session, whatever it may be. If attendance drops off, that's a negative sign. You probably have a churn risk, right? Now, if they are showing up every meeting, super engaged with a list of things to talk about and do, that's a great sign. So maybe this is now the time to look into expansion opportunities. They're showing up week after week. And so that leads us to 3, which is content during meetings. Pain point discovery, new challenges, they're happy with the results, and they tell you that. Budget, whatever it may be. Pay attention during meetings, take notes, put it in properties in the CRM, reach out, post it in Slack channels, whatever you do, make sure you capture this content during meetings that could indicate additional opportunities. A new pain point discovery is a great find during these meetings. New challenges that they're facing because of organizational changes or market conditions or whatever it may be. This is a new opportunity. If they're happy with the results, they're on a high. We see some of our best results with our business when we finish the small project and they're like, wow, that was incredible. You unlocked this, this, and this. Revenue has grown by this much. Immediately in that conversation, we talk about new opportunities. That's an expansion signal. It's an immediate expansion signal. Alarms are going off. Budget expansions. This one is a little weaker usually, but if they share with you that they had a budget increase, number one, they trust you. Number 2, look for additional opportunities, or you should already know additional opportunities that can fit into that budget and get certain results, right? So budget cuts can also be certain types of expansion opportunities, rarer to be that way, but budget cuts can be that. And then any other info you can pick up during meetings. Be intelligent about it. Your customer success team should be watching out for these signals. You need them to get to thinking like, that didn't make any sense. You need to have them start thinking in the terms of revenue and additional revenue that they can capture so that they can watch out for these. Because if they're just thinking, I want to make my customer happy, which is great, and we want them to be satisfied with their existing services, that's awesome, and that's the number 1 priority. Number 2 priority should be seeing how else we can help them. 4, changes in leadership, promotion of your champion, new outside hire, etc. Promotion of your champion is way stronger than new outside hire. If your champion was replaced with a new outside hire, that could be a negative signal. If your champion or your organization that you work with has a new outside hire, that could mean that they're expanding, which could be a good signal as well. They're putting more resources into what you're working on. Promotion of your champion is a great way to work your way up the ladder in terms of priorities, pain points, amount that they can spend on projects. All of that is tied into promotion of your champion. So this is something to work out or to look out for. And then there's other signals in there as well. So changes in leadership is another signal. 5, survey results. Notice how this is further down the list. You should be talking to your clients if you're a service business, and it can be through Slack, it can be on face-to-face meetings, whatever, but it shouldn't be like a quarterly survey. These are still useful, and it's a great way to keep something very structured and not have that human element that kind of discourages people from maybe being completely honest with you. Sometimes they're more honest in these survey results, but this shouldn't be the first thing that you rely on. And then after that, we have expansion signals for software products. 1 would be client success data inside of your product, if applicable. For example, if you are a CRM, you have client data. If it is within your terms and agreements to see that data and use that data for internal purposes, then you can use this as a signal. If you can't, because your clients never agreed to it, then don't use that data, right? That could be unethical. It is unethical. And so you have to make sure you have consent here, right? That people know that their data could be used internally for upsell purposes. I'm not saying this is external to be sold to people. 2, product usage data. User licenses at capacity, high interactions with gated features. You see this a lot in HubSpot because they have different levels of each hub. And so they might run into a menu item and click on it several times, and it's asking them to upgrade. If they keep doing that, then they're probably running into an issue. Have a team member reach out, send a sequence, content that's useful, whatever it may be. User licenses at capacity. If they're growing and they hit their capacity, it's a great time to reopen conversations to expand into other products as well, because if they're growing, then there could be new features that they could use to boost other parts of their business because they're scaling and there's new problems that are popping up. 3, feature requests. Obviously, if they are sending in requests for new features, then that's a great sign that they're using your product. They want more out of it. If they ask it too much and it's never delivered, that's a negative signal. 4, survey responses, same as the one above. It's at the bottom. Don't rely on it. With software, it can be a little more passive of a relationship, and so this one can be more useful. You can have in-product surveys, right? So that one could get some good feedback. 5, research on your website around other features or products. This one I didn't include in the top one, but I should have. If they are services or software products, if they're researching on your website other offerings that you have, then that's a signal. It could be a passive signal. They're just exploring what else you do. Maybe they're going to give you a referral and they want to be able to summarize to people what's going on. But this is something to still look out for as a weaker signal. Okay, so we're coming down the home stretch here. We are now on expansion signals, physical products. So number 1, support CS, sales discussions on orders and reorders. With physical products, you're not going to be having as frequent of interactions as if you had a service, and you won't have as many touch points as if you had a software as a service business, and so, or product. And so now, if you have physical products, you probably have less touch points, but support might be in contact with customers. Customer success might still be in contact with customers. Sales will be in contact with customers when reorders occur. And so you want to look out for several things, and you want to capture that in your CRM so you can use that as a signal data point. So we have new challenges that might pop up. You're having a conversation, you're talking about things related to the current product that they ordered or are getting support on, or whatever it may be. And you might hear these tidbits of information about new challenges that they're facing in the organization. And so we want to look out for those. Increased budget is another one, especially when it comes to any type of customer success role. Sales and support probably won't be coming across this as often, but you can still look out for signs of increased budget, because this is a great opportunity to see if there are other types of products that you can offer, or maybe they're going to order something bigger, or maybe there are other opportunities that are out there. There's more money laying around now. And then last one for that bullet point, new customers of your customer. And so in any of these groups of conversations, support, CS, sales, you might hear mentions of new contracts landed or new customers that your customer just brought on board. And so by looking at what they're going to be serving to those new customers, you can identify additional opportunities for your current product that you're selling to them, or for additional products that might supplement how they are serving their end customers. And so by helping them win, by helping their customers win, you're going to open up a lot of more opportunity for expansion business, not only with the person you're currently doing business with, but you might even get an introduction there to their customers. If they trust you, if they like your product, then it's a great opportunity. So that's the number 1 expansion signal that we see for physical products, still relying on those face-to-face discussions, Zoom to Zoom discussions, whatever they may be, but watching out for those points of information that you can fill into the CRM. 2, certain combinations of product purchases. If you have someone buying 2 products together, maybe there's a third product that is a great expansion opportunity for whatever reason. If you sell physical products in the same category, this might be a common occurrence for you if you have multiple SKUs, right? So look out for that. You might be doing this already. You might have automated apps that do this already. But if you sell more complex products that aren't just ordered via like a Shopify store, and you're actually doing large transactions over the phone, through paper, through meeting face-to-face, right? It's not just a simple click and purchase, then this would be more relevant for you, because you'd have to look out for that specifically. Now, if you have some type of CPQ tool, then you'll still be possibly getting notified if there are expansion opportunities based off of certain combinations of purchases that people have made. But this isn't only for your active products while you're on calls with people, while they're reordering, while you're servicing them. It's also for future products that you might release. So you can use existing data as a signal that a person might be interested in new products coming out. And so that's the second expansion signal that we see a lot of success with. 3 is long-time recurring orders. Someone's been a loyal customer for a long time. If you have a good relationship with them, then this will be an expansion opportunity to sell them more quantity on their recurring orders. Obviously, you would have to make sure that you're helping them actually expand their business, right? And so it might be more of a strategic partnership there, more of a consultative type sales effort, right? Because you can expand the amount of product they're ordering by helping them grow and helping them use more of your product, right? 4, growing order sizes. If people are growing their own order sizes, just naturally, just asking for more every time they go to place an order, then this is a great signal that their business is expanding. Maybe they're going to have a new product or service line. Maybe one of your other products will fit how they're growing and the new problems that they're facing. And so this is another good signal to look out for. 5, research on your website around other products. This is similar to the bullet point before. If they're on your website, if they're looking at different products and you already sell them, they're an existing customer, put priority in that, bring it up in the next conversation you have with them, send them a few marketing emails around it, whatever your strategy might be. Clearly they're interested in looking at other things. So now we have actions that need to be taken. We have talked about a few of these already. 1, you have to make sure to automate these signals. If you are just manually looking for these signals for expansion and you're having someone then manually relay it, hand it off to another team, let's say it's CS and they need to hand it off to sales, let's say it's support and they need to hand it off to sales or to CS, whatever it may be, you cannot allow this to be manual, because then everything ends up being lost in translation. You drop the ball because you get distracted. Not you, but the team drops the ball because they get distracted and someone else calls or someone else gets their attention in the office, whatever it may be. You need to make sure this is automated. So they're on a call, they fill out certain information or it captures it automatically from the interaction. And then the CRM creates an opportunity, notifies the correct people, assigns the correct people to the opportunity, and you have that expansion opportunity already in the pipeline with context and information around it for your team to immediately address. Their existing customers, they need to get contact immediately. They need to be given priority. 2, dedicated expansion pipeline or visible tags. We like doing this. We like doing the dedicated expansion pipeline, especially if you have people who are focused only on expansion sales. Now, depending on if customer success handles this or if sales handles this, you'll have a different approach depending on your organization and your processes. We like doing the dedicated pipeline because it's just so much easier to view and report on and everything like that for our end customers. Obviously from our end, like with the data, we can do it in the same pipeline as everything else, but we like having it separate so that users are in there seeing these expansion opportunities, seeing the summary of the amount of deals in the pipeline in the specific stages. But the other option is you can use specific properties on a deal and have it all in one pipeline. Then you can use tags. So you know when looking at the pipeline in the board view in HubSpot, for example, you'll have those tags visible where you can see it's an expansion deal. 3, they need to be top priority. They need to be above net new. This is an opinion of ours based off of data that we see. Customers get top priority especially if they've been sticking around for a while, because they're your biggest advocates of your product. And now there's an opportunity to do more business with them. You don't have to go at bat 10 times to get 3 closes. It should be a much higher close rate than your net new accounts. And so it's top priority. It's the easiest way to expand revenue. 4, decide who takes these. CS sales. So mentioned it above. This is going to be specific to your organization. See if you want CS to handle these expansions. See if you want sales to come in at a specific point. Maybe they work it together. Every organization has their own way of approaching this. We see success with both methods, but maybe some good sales guys know different than us, but we see success with both, with the type of companies we work with. So last but not least, what we promise, where marketing fits into this. You might be saying, why would expansion opportunities be relevant at all to marketing? And so our approach is audiences for certain products or services that they are not subscribed to yet. Putting people into audiences if they show signals that they might be ready for an expansion. Now, if you don't have very, very direct expansion signals where it's like, hey, they're ready to go. It might just be more of a passive signal, like a website visit. This is when we put them into audiences where we are targeting them on brand new products, brand new services that they currently don't subscribe to. We want to exclude them from our general marketing, right? They already converted on certain messages and certain products. And so we want to make sure this is hyper targeted. You could even, if your customer base is large enough, you could even have a specific audience for customers for those products or services so that you can do direct messaging, including the information that you already know they're a customer and this is an additional product or service you offer, right? So you can play around with this. You can do some experiments, see what signals show success in terms of the marketing messaging. But this is where marketing fits into this. They're not just excluded from expansion signals because they're focused on net new. That shouldn't be the case. You should be marketing to your active customers as well, including for expansion opportunities, upsell, cross-sell, even for just increasing customer satisfaction and showing them other successes that your other clients have been having. If you have additional case studies, you have tons of angles that you can work there. And so, as always, take one action, like, comment, share in a company chat. Easiest at the top, then we have comment, then we have hardest at the bottom, share in a company chat. I'll add one more in there. Book a call with our team. If you feel like this has made a really, really big impact on you, any of these videos, obviously sharing a company chat would be great. Get the team thinking about these types of topics. But if you're ready to take that next step, our team can help out. We can chat about signal analytics, see exactly what problems you're facing and how signal analytics will address that within the first 3 to 6 months and how it's going to lead to success for you and your team. Next videos, we are not doing lead scores. We are going to do a video on the CMO survey, and dig into the top 4 issues and top 4 that we can address with signal analytics. So it'll be impactful and relevant video based off of what the market is seeing in 2024 off of that survey. As always, subscribe. Constructor tool, the signal constructor tool. I don't know why I said signal analytics constructor tool. That's not what it's called. Signal constructor tool. It will help you build exact signals and the actions your team can take based off of data points they're seeing. I'm Dan Saavedra from MergeYourData. Thanks for watching.